Welcome back to another episode of Real Aussie Adventures. If this doesn't tell you it's cold, I don't know what will. It is really, really cold. I know that it's winter time and I'm in Central Australia, but it is a stark contrast from the top end where it's warm all the time, even when it's cold. I've been out of the top end for a good few weeks, but I'm not at all recovering from these cold mornings. I never will, I don't think. Never ever will. I can feel it in my bones. Anyway, for breakfast this morning, oh yeah, and that's probably why I'm sitting in the car, because it's just a little too cold for me outside. Thankfully, though, there's not an icy wind. Usually there's an icy wind in the afternoons that accompanies the flush in of cold weather and the flush out of warm weather. But yes, for breakfast I have Weet-Bix and tinned peaches. So I'm looking forward to this. I've not had much stuff mixed in with Weet-Bix, so it's all very novel and new to me, but I tried kiwi fruit mixed in with Weet-Bix and that wasn't too bad. And now I've got peaches, so we'll try that. It was quite the trek out here, actually. I was not expecting to go on a gravel road for sort of 40 k's, but we made it. I'm actually not really sure what's out here, but I'm hoping it will be of interest to me. My first stop was the bathroom, which actually smelt like the dentist. I cannot, like, I wandered into the bathroom and I was like, smells like a dentist in here. It's a bit ratchet though. One of the doors was missing and the other one you couldn't actually close the door, so you know, who knows, someone might wander in. Thankfully it's just us here, so no one's gonna wander in. But yeah, that was quite the experience. Found some old machinery. I have no idea what it does or what it's for, but it's pretty cool. And I'm wondering if it is where Melbourne and Richmond get their names from, because the people that made it, their names are Melbourne and Richmond. I don't know. I'm not a historian, but I can make up conspiracy theories. How funky is this thing? It's a water cart. I love all the branding on old things, how they actually like took the time and it's been branded and beaten into it. I also love the little slogan on the back down here. Good, better, best, never let it rest till your good is better and your better best. I like that. I might use that if I don't forget it. I probably forget it. I think I've already forgotten it. made it. Look at this. It's definitely an old town. It's also quite icy and cold and windy, so I put on some gloves. Let's go have a look inside. So petite and cute. You know, I'd say I'd love to live in a place like this, but I don't think the amount of stuff I have would at all mean I could live in a place like this. Compared to the Assayas residence, this place is twice as big, as in it has a second room. And this fireplace is humongous. Like, I could stand in here. I could stand in this fireplace. Probably not with my standing up, but I could definitely get inside of it. It's quite large. We made it to the battery. And Jacob posed a very good question, probably the question of the day, which is, why do batteries, as in your AA and AAA and 9 volts, why do they have that name? Because you can understand with a battery, because they batter stuff, batter ore to get the gold out. But as for batteries, what do they batter? This is the river or creek where the gold miners would have done their panning, and as you can see, it is dry, and it would have been dry back then as well. So they did a lot of their gold panning using different methods. I think it was like dirt panning or something, where they'd get big piles of it and then just shift and shake it to get the gold out, and then of course using other gold battery methods to pull it out, instead of the usual water panning where you get lots and lots of water and sift and shake to get that out. At our next stop, which is the old police station and jail, and yes, I put on a beanie because my ears got really cold, and yeah, here we are. It's been restored. It was restored in the 1970s. Now it's here. Look at how thick those walls are. It's interesting to see where the restorations were versus where the original building still remains, just based off the colour of the interior. Also, some of these graffitis on the wall date back a very long time. Like this one, 1923. Crazy. And this one, 1977. It's interesting to know that, you know, someone was here, has been around decades, if not centuries. We've now arrived at the mines. There are 2 mines here, so we're going to have a look and a wander through them both and see. Also, there's some pamphlets, and that's the lid that I accidentally took off. So we'll take one of these and go on our wander. We've come to the first mining spot, but unfortunately it has caved in. We made it to where the mine site is. You can't go into them anymore, but they still remain. You can look into them. Crazy to think that people climb down there, because that entrance down there looks a lot shorter than I am standing up, which means I must have crawled around in there, or knelt and bent down and things. There's also another entrance here. A little bit worse for wear on that scheme of things. I think it's probably caved in a little bit. But it's pretty interesting. But that's just all over and around here. And the underneath where I'm standing, there could be any number of tunnels that lead into other tunnels. Pretty cool though. So this one that I'm about to stand on is super deep. If I stand up on here, look at how deep it is. How crazy. And that tunnel right there has a channel underneath it that connects it to that one, and then goes all the way to there. So that's where they would have exited and entered from. And then there's another exit and entry point just there-ish. We've made it to the next mining location, and this one looks like you can almost go into it. I don't know if I'm game enough though. That entrance looks like a pretty tight squeeze. Not to mention I'm in the wrong footwear. And we have no torches, so we're ill-equipped. We can always come back, I suppose. But we'll see what this placard up here has to say about it, because there is a bit of an entrance on the top. So this mine is actually quite a bit deeper than the last one. Can't even see the bottom. It goes 10 meters deep, I think the sign said. And that little entrance that was just down the side is called an adit, A-D-I-T, which is another way of getting into the mine. But that right behind me was the main entrance into the mine, where you'd go down a ladder. Crikey. Got off the lookout and we found an accessible mine. Not gonna go too far in because, as I said, we're ill prepared. But look at that. I mean, there's not much to it, so I suppose I could go in. But look, a mine. I can safely say that this is the first ever time I have been in an actual mine shaft. Now going to do the Great Western Mine Walk, and I have donned a fly net because the flies were insane at the last place, and I was so distracted by the flies that I bashed my head on a tree. But yes, let's go. We made it to the Great Western Mine. Voila. Just making our way down to the entrance. And there it is. Crazy. Try to get a little bit closer. it's time for a bit of exploring. I'm inside a mine. It's quite close to the surface actually. It's crazy to think. How cool. We explored the mine. There wasn't really much to it, but it was still nice to go inside and have a little explore and picture take. Now we're walking back to the car to the final stop at Altunga, which is the Joker Gorge or Joker Mine. So we'll see what's there. Also, this used to be a wooden structure. Wonder what it would have been used for. Only time knows that answer. We've arrived at Joker Gorge and Mine and stopped in the car park to make some lunch snacks. Jacob had some of his leftover pork roast from dinner last night, and I am having Twiggy sticks and Nutella sandwiches. Yeah. And before you ask, we bought some ready roasts from Woolworths when we went shopping. So we bought a roast chook and a roast pork. I didn't eat the pork, obviously. So that was all what Jacob had, but I had some of the chicken. And then I made myself scrambled eggs and toast. On another note, I have swapped my beanie and jumper and removed the fly net, and just put on a hat. For obvious reasons, I removed the fly net. Gosh, I feel like I'm like trying to, every scene is just a different outfit that I'm donning on my head and face. Well, we climbed up 150 meters just to find this small hole. Honestly, imagine climbing up here every single day for who knows how long just to get this far. It's an impressive feat, but you'd honestly hope that the gold on the outside was worth it. I mean, the views are quite nice. Maybe that's what they did it for. That is their mine. I've almost nearly finished lunch. Just have half a Twiggy stick left to go. We had a look at the mines and gorge, and now we're going to wander back to the car and head onwards to our second stop of the day, proper stop, which is
Trofena Gorge.
Yeah. We have now made it to our second stop, Trofena Gorge. As you can see, I have changed the attire again by putting my jumper back on, we are going to do the Trofina Gorge Walk, which is a 2.5k 2k loop, which will be rather nice. Then we'll finish it off with the Gorge Walk and Panorama View walks. Already we're off to a rocky start, literally, and because got to hike up a hill. I have since changed my shoes though, but what, would you expect anything less of me today, considering I seem to be changing up my outfit like it's going out of fashion? We survived the gorgy part of the walk. Now we get to walk through the creek. I'm just going to say I'm glad it's not filled with water, otherwise this would be a wet walk back. Now on the second walk of this national park, the Panorama Walk. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't have to climb up steps again, but I was wrong. Honestly, what was I expecting when I signed up for a Panorama Walk? I'll look out on the ground. Anyway, here we are, and off we go. Made it to the top of the panoramic views. It was definitely well worth it, but the spot where I thought would be the top was not the top. We had to climb just a little bit further up. Not that that was a problem, but oh, I was not prepared for it. These are the views. After this, we will head back to the car, which we're on Route 4 now, and then make our way back into Alice for the remainder of the day. Perhaps do a little bit of planning for Queensland, and then cook up some chicken for dinner. Don't know what I'm going to prepare with the chickens though. We did the panoramic walk. Woohoo! Now we're wandering back to the car and going for a little drive down to Jessie Gap and Emily Gap. We'll find out what's there when we get there. A very worthwhile stop into Jessie Gap for no other reason other than some folks were here just before us and they called us over. I'm like, hey, are you a fan of birds and do you like nests and things? And we were like, yeah, definitely, sure. We're like, oh, there's this really lovely looking bachelor's pad over here. So we got to see a bowerbird nest. Second ever bowerbird nest that I've seen. Perhaps on the way back while I'm taking this vlog, the old bachelor will be in his pad or around his pad. But it's so cool. There are bones in there, bottle caps, like literal bits of rubbish to us, and glass. You think to yourself, how on earth have you managed to bring that all over
This
here?
way.
But there he is. There's his little bachelor's pad. He's hopped off now. We came to Emily Gap, but unfortunately we couldn't see the rock art because it was covered by a very cold and unknowingly deep, as in I don't know how deep it is, body of water, and there was no actual way around it. So we just went around the water, touched the water, can't feel my hand now. And now we're back to the car. Onwards to Alice Springs, and then inwards to our campsite, where we'll get dinner on the go. So we just got back into Alice Springs and to our accommodation, and we need a key card to get in. We don't know where we put the key card. But we did just do some searching off camera, and I found it had fallen down the crack in the seat just there. I also found the missing Queensland map. So I call that a win, because I've been missing this Queensland map and I've been thinking about it ever since I got it. It's now dinner time. I have showered, and for dinner tonight we're making chicken and some salad over there, and I have successfully managed to make rice glug again. Honestly, at this point I think that's all I'm capable of making with rice, unless it's the rice that I'm using, because it could entirely be the type of rice I'm using. Anyway, we're having salt and pepper chicken. Now, finally sitting down to eat dinner. This is my dinner and Netflix. I reckon tonight is going to be a pretty chill, cruisy night. Finished dinner, and now I'm going to Netflix, finish watching off the movie maybe, and have some pudding. There's a microwave here, so I put some brownie that we got from Woolworths yesterday and some cookies that we also got from Woolworths yesterday. Put them in a bowl, added a little bit of milk and heated them up. It's delicious.